All right, here we go. Let's try this again, man. Here we go. Yeah. Try this again. StreamYard's acting up, so I'm gonna set something up right. Make sure sound is coming through. Hold on. All right, there we go. Here we go. All right. StreamYard's acting a little crazy, so I'm just trying to get this thing situated. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just making sure sound is coming through. Okay. There we go. All right, y'all. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to just get back on here and do a Bellator 271 WMMA wrap up here because it's a lot of fights. So I said, let me go back and just do a separate live stream for LFA and Bellator. And I do want to talk about this one, fight by fight, round by round, on what I saw. Because, I had some people ask me my thoughts on the Valerie Lareda fight. So we're going to start with that fight. But yeah, overall, Bellator, um, it was some good fights. Like I said, I didn't really know. I heard about the Chris Cyborg Sinead Kavanaugh fight, but after I heard about it, I didn't even think about it anymore. I forgot. I just totally forgot about it. The only thing that kept me thinking about this card was Pam Bam Sorensen versus Arlene Blenko. That fight was the only one uh that was really on my mind. That's what reminded me that Cyborg was on this card, right? I was like, oh snap, Cyborg is the main event. I didn't even know, because I forgot about like this fight. I said, does Kavanaugh really deserve a title shot? And I don't know, right? So yeah, really, Pam Bam is what kept in Arlene Blanco is what kept this fight card alive for me. But yeah, Bellator, like I was saying, they can put on some good cards. They definitely put on some good quality fights every now and then, but it's like they just don't put on enough. Like they really don't stay as active. They don't even stay half as active as the UFC does. And that's why I think a lot of their fighters just don't get the shine or get the work in. But I guess with Scott Coker's flexibility, all these fighters they can go to other organizations, right? You can go to another organization and fight. Like he doesn't have you strictly contracted to one organization like the UFC. Well, with the UFC you stay active, so there's really no need to, right? In certain situations. But with Bellator, it's like some of these flyweights in the women's division they don't get to fight for like 2 years, like which is why I'm gonna talk about on this card. Bruna Ellen is one of the fighters, but yeah, man, let's get into it. The first fight on this card on the prelims, Valerie Lareda coming back after her loss to Hannah Guy versus Taylor Turner. Taylor Turner's a little bit older, a little bit seasoned. I think what was she like 5-6 coming into this fight? She's 38 years old. Valerie Lareda, I already heard a lot of people talking about her performance. I gave my thoughts. Valerie, I still think she's still a work in progress. Uh, she's definitely not a fighter that's her skill set's definitely not catching up with the hype behind her. Like the hype behind her and the popularity behind her is for the one thing that we all know why, right? But her skill set is definitely not on that level where it's like, oh, this girl's going to be the next pound for pound champion, right? Valerie still has a long way to go. It's just that her IG modeling and her dancing and all that she's doing, it's building another brand for herself. So in that, you know, that's what she's doing. It's kind of like Ryan Garcia in boxing, right? Ryan Garcia, he's doing the same thing. Like his followers is one thing and his popularity on this side is another, but Um, his skill set, much like Valerie Lareda, is still questionable. It's in the working. Yeah, they're in the gym working and they're training, but it's still something about them that they need to just put the foot on the gas when it comes down to learning technique and getting that next level in the game. I still think they both focus on way too much of these other IG things. It's like they know that the fight game might be over one day, so they focus on this type of stuff a little bit more, right? So Valerie, looking back at her fight here, let's talk about it. She was fighting a much taller fighter here. Like what six was he, like 4 or 5 inches taller? Long, tall striker. And Valerie in this fight right away from the jump in round one, Laredo, she was on the outside here. She was choosing to be the outside fighter, outside in the range of a tall fighter. Granted, Laredo was sticking and moving and landing these right hands and lefts from the jump, but Turner, she's landing a few body kicks at this range. Turner's footwork, if it was a little bit better, I think that she would have had more success. But Turner's footwork isn't the best, so she needed to set her feet and stalk more, right? So that's why Laredo got away with a lot of this movement. Really just making Turner cross her feet up a lot, and that way Laredo could get these combinations off and move. She would Turner would kind of like just walk her down and step into these shots, so Laredo could land, boom, 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 and get out. Laredo won the first round, I think, just off of that movement and landing a lot of shots. But to me, seeing a shorter fighter do this, she's really in danger if she continues to do this against tall, long strikers, because long strikers like Taylor Turner, they don't know that power they possess on the end of their shots. They may be long and lanky, but that's how they get their shots off. Laredo, she was landing these good left hooks and overhand rights. So I think it was just really baffling, a much green fighter when it comes down to it, right? The second round, Laredo back on the bike, once again back on the bike with this stick and move style, just sticking shots to the body. Turner, in my opinion, was chasing too much. It just reminded me of Sabina Mazo. Sabina Mazo and Agapova, how she was just chasing Agapova all night. Um, that's how it was, just letting that fighter on the outside just stay on the bike. Like, she never let Laredo come to her. And watching her footwork, Turner was really letting the opportunities go and never on balance. Never on balance to stick out a hard front kick or take Laredo off the bike. Like, tall, long fighters, you got to move. You got to stalk. You just can't like chase somebody. You got to move cautiously and walk your opponent down. Like, there was so many times where if she would have Taylor Turner, that is, if she would have just walked her opponent down and cut the octagon off, she would have had Laredo. She would have had Laredo cornered, and boom, all it would have taken was like 2 steps, a step and a half, and she would have been in the range, and she could have landed big shots on Laredo, because Laredo's just like on the bike galloping, hitting, move, and then gallop. Hit, move, and gallop like she on her horse, right? Last round, same thing. Laredo just on the bike, Taylor just chasing her, showed a level of greenness in both fighters to me, because Taylor, she couldn't close the distance at any point, and Laredo never really wanted to take this fight to the ground and show a next level of her MMA skills, right? Laredo was just throwing these flurries, to me, always in danger of like a head kick. Always in danger of a head kick from a tall fighter. I don't think Turner really brought that level of urgency, but it was always there. That 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 head kick to me, or whatever type of danger a tall fighter could bring to you, that type of danger is always there in my mindset. That is, Turner, to me, she didn't do enough to win the fight. She maybe got one round, I think the second round, but yeah, I gave all 3 rounds to Valerie Laredo. A very sloppy fight, though. A very sloppy fight. It just seemed like her most coordinated move was her dance at the end, right? It just seemed like her most coordinated move was her dance at the end. Because I think a young fighter like Valerie Laredo, being this athletic and likes to move, likes to be flexible, she could have taken more chances fighting on the inside here, because she was already dealing with a fighter that didn't have good balance. So she could have just taken this fight to the ground and ended it early, instead of just staying on a bike, using so much energy, throwing these flurries and staying on the bike. That's taking a lot of energy. That takes a lot of energy. So I think Valerie Laredo, she just should have been more of a inside fighter here, because that's what she's going to need to do. The higher she moves up the ladder. Do you think if she ever got to a point where she could fight Denise Kielholtz, that she could stay on the outside with her? No. Kate Jackson, no. Alejandra Lara, I don't see her being able to do any of that stuff with the fighter. With the game plan and the strategy that she brought in this fight. That's not going to work. Um, Overall, though, yeah, I can see where a lot of like I said, I was kind of on the fence about Valerie, about how a lot of fighters were talking about her, but I see where they're coming from. But I think you have to bring that energy to all fighters like that. Like even in the boxing world, we talk about Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, one of those fighters that millions of followers, quick hands, but when it comes down to fighting the best fighters and showing like that growth and that want, I don't see that in Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is more so building a brand off of something else, whereas Valerie Lareda, she's also building a brand off of mostly her body. You know, uh, she says she in there training hard every day and she wants to be fighting the best, but after that performance Friday night, I don't see the dominance from her of somebody that wants to just focus on fighting and just going in there and dominating. Like when you see Manon Firo come into the UFC, she's been trying to take girls' heads off, right? She's been trying to kill. Casey O'Neill still got a lot of work in progress, but she's also got that dominance factor about her. Casey O'Neill took the Instagram and was talking trash too. Everybody was. So it's crazy. Like I think Valerie, all in all, man, you need to just kind of leave that twerking stuff outside of the octagon. That's not really the place for it. If you want to do it on your Instagram, that's fine, but we don't come to see that. I want to see somebody that wants to, take head off. I want to see more blood than I want to see twerking when it comes down to it, right? So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Valerie, she has a lot of work to do. Does she beat any of the top 10 in the Bellator? I think Diana Asaragova will probably be the most logical fight for her, but everybody else just seems out of reach. Everybody else is just out of reach for her. I don't see her beating Vanessa Porto was like number 9, like right around her. So the Bellator flyweight rankings is weird like that. They don't really make sense like that. You got somebody like Vanessa Porto next to uh Asaragova and girls like Lareda, so eventually they'll fight, but they'll probably lose to somebody like that. So I don't see her beating Porto, uh, Kate Jackson, Laura, Deanna Bennett. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while before she can get to that level. Let's see. Next fight I wanted to talk about. Had to talk about this. I was a fan of Bruna Ellen. Shout out to Bruna Ellen. It's been 2 years since she's been in the octagon. She took on Desiree Yanez. Yanez, I think, when was the last time she fought? Back in, I want to say March or April. Yanez got a lot of work to do too, though. She's an up and coming fighter. She took on Artiaga not too long ago. Yeah, that's right. Bruna Ellen, though, man, like 2 years, she's definitely made some improvements since the last time I seen her. Bruna Ellen's really, really sharp. Was really, really sharp in this fight with her striking and her takedown defense. Very, very good boxing in this fight, and uh, really, really good at controlling that distance. Good distance management in this fight. I probably say this is probably one of the best performances on this card that as far as like skill wise, it really showed a lot of growth here because Bruna really looked like, I won't say like a totally different fighter, but really, really improved. She looked improved. First round, like Bruna Ellen just came out with that pressure. She wanted to put it on Yanez. She started working that right hand right away. She got hit with a couple right hands herself from Yanez. Yanez was a little too cautious. I think Ellen was just really, really sharp with the jab in this round. Keeping that jab in the face. Ellen was controlling that range nicely. Landing right kicks, landing those right hands to the body, and just mixing it up on Yanez. Yanez was just standing on the outside too much, and I think Yanez more of a pressure fighter and a wrestler, and she was just getting picked apart from the outside. I mean, she tried for like a couple of takedowns, but Ellen was just really, really, really poised on her striking. She was really looking good. Left hook to the body in this fight. I mean, in this round, good front kicks. Ellen was just like picking her apart with some good shots. I mean, it was keeping Yanez honest. Because Yanez wants to wrestle, but she can't get in because boom, the jab's coming. Body shots are coming. So good sharp round right away from Ellen. The second round, Ellen was just again sharp, pumping out those jabs and mixing it up. Her feints keeping Yanez guessing, and like I said, she's going upstairs with these overhand rights, but she's still landing body shots. Combinations, just just really rattling Yanez in this round from the head to the body. And I know Yanez was getting annoyed, so she started trying to press harder, landing her own shots, but she just can't close that distance because Ellen, like I said, she's shown another level. Like before, Ellen used to be on the bike a lot. Like I see some of her early fights, but Ellen was like mixing it up well in this fight, just striking variety, standing her ground, using takedown defense, just overall good, just good work. Ellen got her a takedown in this round. Just good work from her. What's going on, BP? Ernest Richardson, Marcus Bell, just taking a break here. Let's see. Maverick beats Aaron. I think she can. Does Jillian Robertson beat Zombie Girl? Ooh, that's a close fight, man. I think Jillian does, BP. I think Jillian gets it done. Ernest said Laredo has zero footwork. That's true. Marcus Bell, what's going on? Yeah, we just talking about these fights here real quick. I'll get back to y'all. Um, Round three though, Ellen still sharp on the game, man. She was just landing some nice right hands to the body in this third round, and Yanez finally, this was like she started to pick it up here. She started getting her timing down, and started landing her own jab, like good jab too, like shotgun jab to Ellen's chin. She started finding that timing and hitting Ellen with her own right hands. But Yanez really had to step in here. It was really no choice. She had to step in. She wasn't gonna keep this pace up, so she had to go in and take these chances. Yanez stepped up her attack, but I still think that Ellen was just too sharp, too sharp. She went right back to that skill set of just pot shot and then just stuffing takedown attempts and controlling the fight, man. Easy win, man. Easy win for Bruna Ellen, though. I had it 30-27. Um, this like I said, this can't just go on like this where these fighters have to go on these layoffs. I mean, I don't know what else Bruna Ellen had going on, but it's been 2 years since she's been out of the octagon. That's too long. And granted, she looked good coming back, but not everybody will, right? So hopefully she can get another fight. I mean, I know Kate Jackson has a fight coming up. Maybe she can get a fight with like Vanessa Porto or somebody just to stay active with Deanna Bennett because you can't keep these fighters like on the shelf, man. Like you got to keep these girls sharp. Like Bruna's still young. Like I don't know. Like somebody brought this up to me the other day about the Tough House coming in. It was like they'd like to see Bruna Ellen on there. I was like, hell yeah, I would like to too. I would love to see Bruna Ellen up in there. I love to see her in the Tough House. Make that crossover to the UFC. Because from what I've seen from her striking, if I'm gauging Bruna Ellen's skill set from this organization to the UFC, I think that Bruna Ellen is sharper than like let's say Casey O'Neill. I think she's sharper than that. Like she's sharper than like Casey O'Neill. I think she got better skills than her. Um, I think right now like her even like her gas tank and her cardio is better than some of these flyweights in the UFC. Like I think I think she could give Viviana. I mean, it'll sound crazy. I think she'd give Viviana Arujo a run for her money too, man. Like she just seemed really really sharp. Like committed for 3 rounds. I know this is a different level of opponent, but if they would go strike for strike, I mean, she tends to have the gas tank. I might be talking crazy to y'all, but I think Bruna Ellen can be something. She's still young too. Marcus said I think Bruna can beat Laredo. Yeah. Oh heck. Oh yeah. She'll take her apart, man. I won't even mention that fight for Laredo because Bruna Ellen gonna take her apart, man, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, good flyweight fight. I just need to see these fighters stay active more because this is just taking away from their time to grow. It's just good that Bruna Ellen took the time to improve. She really has improved. This next fight, Arlene Blinko and Pam Bam Sorensen. This is the only fight I got wrong on this card. All my picks are pretty much right except this one, and this was a fan pick. You know what I mean? I had to go with the fan pick here because I love. Shout out to Pam Bam. I'm a fan, and I wanted to see her get to that title shot, but she was going in there with somebody that's been improving. Arlene Blinko's a little bit older, 38, but she's been active. She's been active. She's been staying sharp. Uh, Activity is very, very important. Activity and experience here because Pam Bam, she just came back against what's her name, Roberta Samad. Good fight just to come back, but this was a big leap. Pam Bam is like number what, number 8, number 7, and she's going in there with the number 1. That's a big jump. I thought she could have got it done, but Arlene, I said, okay, if Arlene does it, I understand why. Arlene Blencowe is sharp right now. Kickboxing, her boxing, her speed, and just her level of activity. She's just been sharp. So I definitely could have seen it going this way. I definitely could have seen it going this way. Arlene Blencowe pretty much dominated. Could have got a stoppage, I think. As far as the pressure she put on. But Pam, she's tough. She's tough. I mean, right away in the first round, Blencowe opened up with good sharp right hands. Backing Pam up. Backing Pam up with these shots to get a clinch. And you could see Blencowe just using that speed. Pam, in my opinion, she needed to time those right hands and start, shotgun jabbing, throwing them shotgun jabs and coming forward more. Pam, she was showing a lot of respect from the right hand of Blencowe from the jump, and I think she needed to dip in and make it a clinch fight. Dirty box on her own and just straight go for takedowns here. Expend that energy on takedowns here because Blencowe is gonna get sharper and get stronger and stronger if you give her range. Blencowe was landing these good right hands and just able to when you're able to dictate that pace like that, it's just going to make her stronger. Because she's just controlling the pace and she's working the body here. And which Pam did get actually Pam did clinch up at one point in this round. She did clinch up at one point, but I think that Blencowe, her work rate was a little bit better on the inside. Not enough work from Pam Bam to even like consider it like a good mauling here, or even good clinch control. She just locked up to try to stop that offense, So when they got separated, again, Blencowe mid-range boxing, just working and snapping that jab out, landing combinations, and really starting to mark up Pam already. Second round though, Pam, she started picking her shots from a distance, starting with those leg kicks, couple jabs of her own. But Blencowe, when she amps it up, right hand's coming in again. Blencowe, her takedown defense really has improved. So every time Pam did try to step in, she would stuff them and go right back to backing Pam up with right hands. I think Pam's best moves would be, like I said, close the distance in the center, try to tie clinch it, get body shots in, and wear Blencowe down, and then go for another trip and takedown here. But again, Blencowe was just controlling that center, man. Body shots, just overall better, better off kickboxing. Another control round for Blencowe. Now third round, I thought a stoppage was coming for real. Pam, she needs a finish, but um, Blencowe, with the pace she was coming in with those counter right hands and just how fast she was mixing it up and backing Pam up, like you could see the reaction from these shots. I thought a stoppage was possible here. I think if Pam moved more to her right and then came in at an angle, she could have landed more off of her leg kick. She was landing a few low kicks, but she couldn't really get anything to get the respect of Blencowe in this round as well. Blencowe was just too sharp. More hands just put on her. Started having that swelling over the left eye from those right hands. Just overall good performance by Blencowe. I had it 30-27. Uh, I wanted to see, Pam get this fight so she could get to that title, but it was a big jump, especially for a fighter that just came back. Maybe she should have had somebody in between, like a Janae Harding or Leah McCourt, just to get sharp. Because Blencowe is still the number one contender. She's won her first fight back after, what was it, Chris Cyborg. So you do have to look at those levels to the game, man. I mean, shout out to Pam for taking the fight, though. She just wanted to show that, look, she wants to take that chance and get there, and she really wants to go for the belt. Not too many people are calling Cyborg out, right? So I have to give her credit on that. But I'm not counting Pam out. I think she can just go back to the drawing board and work her way back up. Got to get those fights in between, in the middle of the rankings and see where it goes from there. Um, oh, y'all, yeah. When's that fight anyway? Priscilla and Jillian Robertson. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not looking at it schedule right now, but man, this last fight though, I mean, the main event for what it was, like I said, Chris Cyborg versus Sinead Kavanaugh. I forgot about this fight. I forgot about this fight, man. I mean, I didn't expect anything different. I mean, I didn't know if Kavanaugh was ever going to get this opportunity. I think Janae Harding had stopped her, right? You know, she had a big knockout over Amanda Bell, but I didn't know it was enough to get this opportunity. I thought I thought somebody like Kavanaugh would have to beat like Arlene Blenko or a Kat Zingano. Stop Kat Zingano's. Uh, I won't even call Kat Zingano's go to a title shot yet because she hasn't really fought anybody in the top yet either. But I thought she would have needed to stop somebody's tracks like hers to maybe get a title shot because I didn't know about this. I really didn't. I forgot about it. Kavanaugh to me um, was just not that fighter. Just that's no disrespect. She's just not that fighter. And I mean, it showed. It was almost like one of those UFC fights when Chris Cyborg would just go in there and blast out like Leslie Smith, like she did in the first fight. Yana Kunitskaya and so on, right? Uh, Sinead Connor, they would selling her, hyping her up into this fight as one of the top level boxers that was going to go in there and give Cyborg trouble. But right from the jump, Kavanaugh never really set her mind on using that boxing or slipping and playing Matador, right? Cyborg, right from the jump, came straight at her. She just came straight at her and, was hitting her with a barrage. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is the opening 5 seconds, right? So you think if Kavanaugh was a boxer, you would think that she would turn angles, and as soon as this fighter comes at her, she would try to clinch up or she would try to pump a jab out. But no, man, Cyborg, like, once again, just returns to that old intimidation factor where she can just bum rush you and you'll falter. So it should have been on Kavanaugh to just say, okay, I got to be ready for this, and I got to play counterpuncher, right? That's what a boxer does, play counterpuncher, right? So Cyborg, to me, I ain't gonna lie, too, like, technically, there's two things to it. Okay, Cyborg was there to be hit this fight. Cyborg was there to be hitting this fight. She showed a lot of holes because she knew that this opponent wasn't gonna propose any threat to her, right? So she didn't mind going straight at it. So that should have been on Kavanaugh's. See, there's levels to this game. Let me break this down. There's levels to this game. Like, you have to counter somebody else's mental thoughts of you. Like, mentally, they think you're in a certain position, but you have to counter that. Like, Kavanaugh should know that Chris Cyborg probably thinks, okay, Chris Cyborg thinks she can just bum rush me, right? So, okay, I got to surprise her. She's probably going to go in there, chin out, wild swinging, thinking she can get me out of there. She's not going to respect me. So I got to let that play into my game plan of being a counterpuncher, right? And she didn't do that. She didn't do that. Kavanaugh just backed up straight into the fence and just ate these shots. And Cyborg just became old school with the pressure, just unleashing barrages and started to trade. And then Kavanaugh made that mistake and tried to trade. And Kavanaugh did catch her with a left hook. That's why I said, like, Kavanaugh has accuracy as a boxer. And when Cyborg comes out trading like that, that's when you let that left hand go and you take your head off the line. You know what I mean? You got to make them count. But she comes back trying to trade. Bam, lands a left hook on Cyborg. Cyborg comes back with a big right hand, just lays her out cold. Cyborg knocks her out cold, wakes her up with a couple hammer fists, and that's it, man. So I was just like, come on, man. As a boxer, you have to be sharp. Like I said, I thought, this girl was going to come in with that, okay, I'm going to show her a little bit of skills. I'm going to try to at least survive. But you know how it is. Like, they want to sell these fights as something bigger. But we knew that Kavanaugh wasn't on that level. But it's just like I'm saying, from the outside looking in, if you know this fighter's not going to respect you, you have to counter that disrespect and come back with something to wake her up. Like, what did Amanda Nunes do? Amanda Nunes, when she was on the back foot with a Cyborg that was trying to let the barrage go, Amanda was landing these shots in these holes, right? She was exposing these little holes. These holes were here tonight because Kavanaugh could have seen this as a point to underestimate, seen this as, okay, Cyborg underestimate me, so let me take a page out of Amanda's book. And that's only if you want it. I'm just talking, like, if you really want to win a fight, if you ain't just coming to lay down, like, this is what you got to do. This is what Nunes did, right? Nunes said, okay, let me counter here. She gonna come at me wild. I'm gonna just expose these holes and boom, boom, I'm gonna knock her out. That's it, right? And if you don't have that power, it's gonna be a process, man. So you got to be ready for that. But yeah, another highlight reel knockout for Chris Cyborg. Really, right? It was just a sharp right hand, put the girl out. Um, like I said, my final thoughts on the card though for Bellator, we just need more cards, man. Like I think fighters in Bellator don't perform to their highest level because they just don't have that they don't get that work in enough. I mean, Marcus Bell, what do you think? I mean, some of y'all in here, what do y'all think? I mean, BP, Ernest, like they just don't get enough work in. Like Bellator is not putting on enough cards to keep their fighters active. And I mean, I don't know what that is or why. You know, Bruna Ellen out for 2 years. Denise Kielholtz, they fight maybe once a year. I know the pandemic was here, but it just seems like the UFC is kind of putting putting all of that to shame right now. They're putting all that to rest. Like there's no excuses. So I don't know, man. From here, I think Cyborg is one of the biggest fight contracts. So what, like how many more fights did she have? Like was it a 10 fight contract? I mean, I could see her just defending this belt and maybe catching up in time with like Valentina and with their title defenses and so on. But who's next? Like Kat. I'm looking at Kat's resume right now in Bellator, and the two fighters that she fought don't really add up to potential title shot for Kat Zingano, right? I don't think so. I mean, Kat Zingano has 2 wins, but they're not like high ranked fighters here. Like, when are we going to see Kat versus Arlene? When are we going to see Kat versus Janae Harding? When are we going to see one of those fights that could be a title eliminator for her? I mean, does she really want that fight? Yes or no? What do y'all think? But yeah, let me get up out of here, y'all. I'll be back on at 7 tonight. Like I said, I wanted to just drop this Bellator talk. From now on, like, yeah, when Bellator has like a lot of fights like this, I'll just come on and do a wrap up. There's a live stream like I did with the last Bellator card like a while back, and like I did the LFA last night, and yeah, go from there. But yeah, we got another fight week 2 coming up. Some good fights coming. One of the triple threats fighting Taylor versus JoJo. We got to talk tonight when I get back on here a couple hours. So yeah, Combo Breaker 99. I am out. See y'all in a bit. Subscribe. Peace.